Hello fiber lovers and YouTubers. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Wonderful World of Knitting podcast. Yes, today is podcast day. I figured if I'm not doing it today, then it's not going to happen anytime soon. So yeah, I'm taking the opportunity and I'm going to do another video for you because it has been a little while. Last episode was about maybe 2 months ago, something like that. So yes, I got loads to show you, and welcome to any returning viewers and welcome to any new viewers if you stumbled across my channel. I'm Kathleen. I have been knitting for over 10 years and that's my passion. It's what I do every day to relax, keep myself busy, creating, making, love it. So yes, on that note, shall we jump in and I will show you what I have been up to recently, in the last few weeks really. Life has been busy, but there's always time for knitting. I'm just gonna have a quick sip of my coffee and then we'll start. Settle in, get yourself a drink as well. Oh, that's too hot. And yeah, let's talk knitting. So first, I want to start with a show and tell. I want to show this beautiful multicolored crocheted blanket. Isn't it lovely? Oh, love it. So this is a 20 square blanket. So not sure if any of you know about 20 squares, but for those that don't know, 20 square, so you can either just do one giant 20 square where you start in the middle and you well, it's basically a square, yeah. The clue's in the name, a 20 square, and so you keep on crocheting around and around and around. And in terms of color, you can do anything you like. You can just do one color only, or you can, you know, mix colors or alternate them. There's many different possibilities, and I had a lot of fun making this one. So the way I've done it with the colors, I just literally chose them randomly. I went to the yarn store. This is a DK weight yarn I used. I went to the yarn store and just picked up any random color that I like and just kept adding to it. And so I'm not a crocheter, I must say, and this is the only crocheted. I have wet trousers, I don't know why. Maybe I spilled my coffee. I'm not a crocheter, but yeah, so this is the only crochet project that I have ever made, because I don't really get crochet, you know. I need both my hands need to be busy. With crochet you have one crochet hook and you're crocheting, whereas with knitting, I don't know, I just find it easier anyway. So yeah, but I do like it. And there's lots of tutorials online. If you're interested, go to YouTube and type in 20 square blanket. So you can also crochet lots of individual 20 squares and then you can sew them together to get a different effect. That's also very nice as well. So yeah, that's my blanket and it's lovely. Yes, I don't know, it's wet here, I don't know why. I don't see any coffee stains though. But anyway, so yeah, that is that. And we're going to put this back. And we're going to move on to finished objects. Yes, I have a few finished objects today, so I shall show you. So first, it's the Ithilien Vest. And this is a pattern by Fabel Knitwear. And I have watched this designer, I have been watching this designer for quite a while, and I've always wanted to knit one of her designs because I think she designs really stunning garments. I mean, isn't that gorgeous? Look at this. It has a square neckline, and the yarn that I chose for this is also just simply divine as well. So it's meant to be a vest, however it did come out too small. That's the only drawback on this with this project. Yeah, that's really my mistake. It's not the fault of the pattern. It's my mistake. I messed up. I messed it up really. But I want to show you the yarn that I've used first, and then I shall show you the pattern. So I've used Laan Amy yarn, and I used a fingering weight yarn, held it together with a Silk Mohair. Yes, and Laan Amy yarn. So they're both, you can see they're both the same colorway. Held them together. And this is what created this lovely fabric. It has a 1x1 whip at the bottom. So in terms of the construction, you start at the bottom, you do the whipping, you then start increasing, so to increase, you know, for the bust. Then you split the front and the back. You then knit both fronts separately as well and do decreases. And you knit the back after that. You then leave the live stitches here on the sleeves and you do a 3 needle bind off, which binds off your stitches and seams it together at the same time, which is amazing. And look at this beautiful seam that the 3 needle bind off creates. This is what it looks like on the right side. Oh wow! And there's almost nothing to see on the wrong side. Look at that. I did think it would leave a seam on the wrong side, but it doesn't. Oh, stunning. Love it. Such a beautiful design. Let me show you the pattern. And then I will tell you why it's too small for you. Really my own fault. So silly. So yeah, Ithilien Vest. I keep my project notes in my... I have a page like this, a sheet for each design, for each project that I knit. And then I simply have the name of the pattern, start date, end date, how much yarn I've used, the gauge I achieved, and just generally the notes. So anyway, let me show you the pattern. There we go. Ithilien Vest by Fabel Knitwear. What is her name? I think her first name is Helene. Helene something. What is her lovely name? Oh yeah, Helene Arnesen. Fabel Knitwear, Helene Arnesen. So yeah. So, why has this come out too small? So I did swatch, I always swatch. Well, in 99% of the cases I swatch. And... oh yeah, let me just put this back. So I did swatch, and then I think I got gauge with 5mm needle, and then for some reason, for some stupid reason, I just decided to go down to 4.5, probably because I wanted it to be form-fitting. And then I always convince myself, and I say to myself, when I knit the full garment, I will relax in my knitting and my tension becomes looser. So I think that's how my brain worked at the time. That's why I decided to go down in the needle size, even though I had the correct gauge with 5mm. Because I'm more of a tight knitter, I tend to always go up in the needle size. So the pattern says about 4.5mm, but I really should have knitted on 5mm. And yeah, for some stupid reason, I decided to go down to 4.5mm. And so that's why I actually ended up not with 18 stitches, what the pattern calls for. I ended up with 19.5 stitches. And that's the reason why it came out smaller. Second reason why it came out, there's another reason. It gets interesting now. Second reason why it came out smaller is, even though I followed the instructions for the length, so I stuck to the pattern instructions and knitted it to the exact length. I think also the reason why it's smaller is because I'm a bit wider around the bust, and so because the garment, when it stretches around your boobs, right, it then pulls up the garment, whereas if you are smaller around here, then there's more fabric that can go over your body, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. So yes, that's why it came out too small, and I'm even considering, because this here is the cast on, right? So I'm considering perhaps to run a reactive lifeline around my stitches and then cut into it, yeah, so that I can then knit down, but I don't know if that will work. Has anybody got any experience when you have a cast on? Can you undo a cast on and then knit in the opposite direction? So obviously here I knitted up, so this was the direction of knitting going up. If I cut this and put it back on the needles, I would be knitting down. Would that work? I don't know. We shall see what I will do. So yeah, that was that. But yeah, it's gorgeous. So I can't put it on for you because then my belly shows. It's basically just a bralette for me, really. But yeah, it's lovely. I would love to, I think I'd like to try and modify it. Because I have more yarn left. So it would be a crime not to do that, I think. So that's finished object number 1. I can show you the yarn label as well if you like. So that's the Silk Mohair. Yeah. San Tokki. And this is the fingering weight Cashmere Merino. Cashmere Merino and Silk Mohair held together. So yeah. FO number 1. And I shall just take another zip. Oh, that coffee is so good. I love coffee. Yes, what have you been up to? Tell me, what are you knitting on at the moment? Any interesting projects? Maybe a colorwork or cable project? Who knows what you guys are up to? Oh, I see so many beautiful knits on Instagram and YouTube, and I just want to knit it all, don't you? Yeah, so shall we continue with FO number 2, and that's going to be a small one. Any returning viewers will recognize these socks. too silly really, right? That it took me over a year to complete them. I do like knitting vanilla socks, but you know what slowed me down completely, what made me put them into the corner, not pick them up, is because there's the lace motif. And I shall show you. It is beautiful. Oh, that would work real nice as some gloves, wouldn't it? Look at this. But yeah, so this is the twin flower socks, and I finally finished them. I have 2 now instead of just 1 sock, and the color is just so lovely as well. Look at these specks in here, and they fit perfectly. Here at the heel you have, I think it's called the heel. When you see this, these are slipped stitches, yeah, and that's what makes the fabric more sturdy and prevents it from getting holes in your socks. These socks were knit cuff down. So yeah, you knit the cuff ribbing. You then do a long lace chart, I think over 50 rounds. And you then go straight into the heel. Let me think. Yeah, you go into the heel, then you turn the heel, yeah, because when you turn the heel in socks, you actually change the direction of your knitting, and that always fascinates me. I love this. So yeah, you change, because like, let's look, you're knitting this way, this way, this way, this way, and then suddenly you change the direction as you have to go down over your, I think it's called a heel, yeah. And then you knit the foot and then you're done. So yeah, that was that. FO number 2. And now I want to show you a sewed project, a sewed FO. So I don't really sew, but well, a little bit. You know, I'm a beginner. I mean, I don't even have a proper sewing machine. We only have a kid's sewing machine for 9 years or plus. It's a small sewing machine, it works like a sewing machine, but the thread is pre-threaded, and you just more or less push a button, you pull through the fabric, and you can actually do a bit of sewing, seaming. So what I've done is my daughter and I, because my daughter's actually interested in sewing, and I want to sign her up for a sewing workshop, sewing classes, for specifically for children. I found one already that's in London, because we live in London. And so anyway, she's interested in sewing, and so we did this, my daughter and I, and I didn't follow a pattern. I just thought about how would you knit, sorry, not knit, how would you sew a pillow. So we bought the fabric in Hobbycraft, and then I just have some polyester stuffing that I used when I was knitting, when I knit a toy. In the past I knitted a toy monkey, and so I had some stuffing left. And so yeah, you just, oh gosh, how did we, so you can see the seam here. Can you see this seam? So you just fold the pillow, you start your seaming on the side, then you have one side open where you put the stuffing, and then you're left with a small hole, right, to finish off the seaming, otherwise the stuffing would come out. But because you have to stuff it, you then can't seam it right side to right side. So what I did is, if you look at, I mean, this is a complete, you know, I mean, if a professional looked at that, they would probably laugh their heads off. But so you can see the seam here. Can you see this? Where you achieve the seam if you put the right sides together. So the seam will be on the inside, on the wrong side. But then, because you have to stuff it, it then changed into this. Can you see that? So where I had to hold it, and can you see the seam is there? Because you have to stuff it. I'm not sure if that makes sense now. And so we have a pocket here as well, where she puts her little teddy, and she sleeps with this pillow. And of course, we love our Disney princesses. So that's that. And yeah, really lovely. I would love to do more sewing, but I'm not sure if time allows me at the moment. We will see in the future what happens. Yeah, and as we're just talking about sewing, I have another sewing project to show you today, because I went, same as last year, so for the past 2 years I went to the Knitting and Stitching Show in London, which is a big event, not as big as Rhinebeck, is it called? Rhinebeck in the United States, but the Knitting and Stitching Show is in the UK. It's a knitting and stitching show in the UK. I don't know if it's in any other, no, it's probably not in other countries, only in the UK. So yeah, you got everything there, you know, any fiber arts, you know, you have sewing there, embroidery, crochet, knitting, quilting, you name it, any fiber arts. And so every year I go there, and it's just a lovely day out. I actually had 2 tickets available this year. I had complimentary tickets from last year still. And so I was debating, should I take my 9-year-old daughter with me? But then she would have probably got a bit bored. You know, kids are like that. But anyway, so I went on my own, and it was a nice day, walking around, looking at the yarn. But what I always do when I go to the Knitting and Stitching Show is attend one workshop. So last year I attended a workshop where, I think it's called, I forgot the name. But anyway, I sewed my own bag then on a sewing machine. And this year, sewing again, but a different type of sewing, and it's called an overlocker. So an overlocker, well, I better not try and explain it. An overlocker is just, because I'm a total beginner, but there were several bobbins and threads. Are they called bobbins, threads? And they cut the fabric at the same time when you do the seaming. So anyway, to cut a long story short, I sewed another bag with an inside lining. Can you see that? So I sewed this bag myself, and I absolutely love it. so proud of it. And oh, I wish I had more time. As I said, you know, time is the one thing in my life that I don't have. Because, you know, we have 2 children, I work full time, I already knit, I have to look after the house, have to support my children with their homework and things like that. So yeah, but anyway, I'm going off on a tangent now about my life. But yeah, anyway, so I saw this project bag at the Knitting and Stitching Show workshop. So they show you everything, they help you. It's a great way to learn a new skill. I would highly, highly recommend to anyone who's interested. And I can use this as a project bags for my knits. So yeah, that's that. Yes, and now I think we're already coming to the final finished object, and that is actually the elephant in the room. Yes, it is what I am wearing today. So it is the Moonset Pullover. Let me move and show you. I shall show you first this beautiful detail here. This V-neck detail, overlapping stitches, is really what drew me to the pattern, what made me want to knit it. But also the dropped shoulder construction. So this is not a raglan. So raglans, you have a line of increases here. But with dropped shoulder construction, you have this detail. Let me show you the back. That's where you pick up the stitches. So yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself now. So let me stand up and show you the full beauty. It has a an I-cord bind off. At the bottom, I-cord bind off on the sleeves. And I really, really, really love this jumper. It's so comfy and love it. So happy with it. I already wore it in the office, and did I get a compliment on it? No, I think I didn't. No. People probably don't know that I actually knitted that. You know, when non-knitters see you, they think, oh, you're wearing a store-bought item, because it looks so, you know, when you're quite good at knitting it looks store-bought, right? You know, when you're a beginner, then you might see tension issues. But as an experienced knitter, you don't have tension issues anymore. And your finishing touches just get a lot better. So people probably won't even know that it's store-bought, that it's hand-knit. And I shall show you, first of all, let me show you the yarn. So I knit this in Jobs Puna. Inexpensive yarn, it is so soft. It was actually a stash yarn as well, so I didn't have to go and buy more yarn. I had this in my stash. I bought this for a different project. That wasn't the intended project that I bought this for. Yes, 100% alpaca. And initially I was a bit worried about 2 things. Number one, I was worried that it would be a bit scratchy, or I'm a bit sensitive to alpaca. And also I worried because I heard that alpaca grows in length quite a bit. So that's why I deliberately knit the sleeve a little shorter. Because if you knit a sleeve to the full length and then the item grows, you end up with 2 long sleeves. And that's not something that I like. Because when I'm busy around the house, or I'm in the office, I'm typing, I don't like having my sleeves over my hands. So my perfect sleeve length is really 3/4 length or bracelet length. And these sleeves are bracelet length, and they're so beautiful. So yeah, but anyway, it worked out perfectly, and my worries were, you know, invalid, really. And I want to just tell you a little bit more about the construction, because as I said, this is what really drew me to the pattern. You cast on the back, yeah, you cast on the back without the neck. No, hang on. Oh gosh, it's been a little while, so you tend to forget so quickly. I cast on the neck band. Yeah, sorry. I cast on the neck band at the back and knitted the neck band, and oh god, I'm getting confused now. think I did the neckband, and then I did the back with German short rows. So you have this back piece then, yeah, the back piece here. You then pick up stitches. Can you see this line? That's where you pick up your stitches. And then you knit the fronts together with the neckband, because this is a 1x1 whip, so you always have to maintain the 1x1 whip. So you knit the front, so you essentially knit this way, but I believe separately. So you start with the back, you knit down, and you have to do German short rows, which will give you this shape. And yeah, you then knit the fronts. You then, well, I don't want to give too much away because it's a paid for pattern, but you then join these together, and then you knit in the round, you knit down. You then pick up stitches for the sleeves, and you knit the sleeves. And I don't think I made any modifications as such. Mine is a little bit short. It could have got a bit longer, really. And the only thing though that I did have to do to change is because I actually ran out of yarn. This was yarn in my stash and I ran out. But then I basically finished the sleeves at about here, 3/4 length sleeves, and because it's quite a warm garment, because of the fabric, because of the alpaca, it keeps you warm. It is, it gives you warmth. So there's no point having 3/4 length sleeves. So then I ordered 2 more balls, which were very, inexpensive. I undid my I-cord bind off, knitted it a bit longer, did a 4-stitch I-cord bind off. I obviously then went ahead and matched the second sleeve, and then that was that. And yes, my Moonset Pullover. And I've seen quite a few podcasters on YouTube that also knit the Moonset Pullover. It's by Ozetta. I failed to mention. I want to show you the pattern. Moonset Pullover by Ozetta. This is the sample in the pattern. Moonset Pullover. I would highly, highly recommend it. Very lovely pattern, very well written as well. She explains everything. There's no errors in the pattern whatsoever. She gives you the stitch count. She gives you, I believe, the number of centimeters to knit to. She gives you instructional videos. So if you are an intermediate knitter, you can knit this. It is, what did I do here? It is very easy. And also it's in bear with me. It's a new to me construction as well. So yeah, up until this point I did raglands, top down, and I did bottom up constructions. But I don't think I have done a drop shoulder construction before I did this one. And yeah, highly recommend. So that was the Moonset Pullover by Ozetta. And I'm just wondering, do I have another finished object now? No, I don't. So that brings us to whips. So, whips. How many whips have I got so far these days? I do get overwhelmed if I have too many whips. So I think for me, 2, maximum 3 whips is a nice balance. Otherwise it gets too much. Yeah, so the first whip, returning viewers will recognize this. It is my Ankers Summer Shirt by, Ankers Summer Shirt by Petite Knit. Yeah, the Ankers Summer Shirt by Petite Knit. It is still work in progress, but I will have this finished in maximum 2 weeks, I would say. Look at this beautiful yoke. And look at the color. Oh, this color makes my heart sing. And I think it really suits me as well. I cannot wait to have this finished. I have 1 sleeve done already. Ta-da! Isn't it so pretty? and one sleeve at the moment. The second sleeve I'm working on at the moment. It's a good, easy project really to take with me when I go into the office, and then I just knit in my lunch break, because the other project that I'm working on at the moment is only a project that I can only work on when I'm at home. So this is what I will take with me when I'm out and about. And so this, as I mentioned, is the Ankers Summer Shirt. And the clues in the name, the pattern is actually for a summer shirt, but I did really convert this to be more an autumn-winter garment for two reasons. Number one, I'm adding sleeves, and number two, because of my yarn choice. Because I'm knitting this in two different yarns held together. This one here is Hedgehog Fibres Cashmere Merino. So it's a Cashmere Merino blend, and this is what gives it the warmth and the softness. Now this one is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and this is what gives it the structure and how to explain it. It gives it a structure and structure. It gives structure and sturdiness as well. So yeah, holding them together, so I think I'm achieving almost like an Aran gauge with this, because it's about a 20 stitches gauge, 20 stitches per 10 centimeters, and it is so soft, it is so lovely. So yes, 20 stitches I'm getting with this, holding them together, knitting it on 4.5 millimeter. And I show you the pattern now. So it's really, I find it always so amazing that you have a pattern, and the designer, designs, obviously, creates the design, but then you can change it to your taste. You can convert a summer garment into a winter garment, depending on the yarn you use, depending on how dense, how tight it is, the fabric that you're making. So let's say if you go down in the needle size and you're knitting it on very small needles, the stitches will be a lot tighter, will be smaller. Then of course you have to make sure still it fits you. But what I'm saying is it really changes the drape of the garment, it changes the look, it changes everything. So I find that quite amazing, and it gives as a knitter, gives you the freedom to play around and experiment and have fun, and that's what it's all about, I find, for me anyway. So that's the Ankers Summer Shirt. Ta-da! And yes, it's a summer shirt, for sure. But I have a winter shirt, or winter pullover, really. And so yeah, it's a nice knit. Oh, I did do one modification. So in the pattern, I have to come a bit closer to show you. So at the moment you can see I have 3 whip sections, yeah? And in between the sections you have the increase rounds. In the pattern she has 4 whip sections, but because I quite like the look of wide necks, I think it's more flattering. What I've done is I omitted the first whip section, and the way I've done this, I simply looked at the number of stitches you would have after the first increase round. So I cast on that number instead of the original number in the pattern. So this way you save on yarn, because it's less, you use up less material, and you have a wider neckline. And that's, yeah, really love it. Love this project. I don't want to give away too much, because again it's a paid for pattern, so I want to be careful not to give away too much information. That wouldn't be fair to the designers. And yeah, really, it has been on my needles for a while though, so I do want to finish that one. The thing is, when I then go ahead and start other projects, you put that whip away, and then it becomes a lingering whip. And that's the reason why I don't like having many projects, because then you just find yourself casting on, and you're left with 10 whips, and yeah, that would stress me out. I'm already stressed as it is with life. So yeah, but anyway, yeah, that's my Ankers Summer Shirt. and we shall put that back in the project bag. Yes, so we can move on to my second whip, because at the moment I have 3 to show you. So this whip is actually a summer project, a summer knit that I'm not actively working on. So this one is in the corner, and I will pick this back up again in the summer of 2024. So the reason I cast this on not too long ago is because, believe it or not, but now we are in winter, it's December, but at the beginning of September we had an Indian summer, we had a heat wave, and so I really wanted to knit, but there was no way I was going to knit on huli yarn, with huli yarn. So that's why I cast on a summer project, because I really wanted to knit, and you know, so naturally you use plant fibers, cotton or linen or something. And so I'm going to show it to you, and I want you to try and guess. I would like you to try and guess. Who can guess what this is? Because this is probably the most popular pattern, knitting pattern out there still after a few years. I think that's already given it away now, right? You should be able to guess. It's only a little itty bitty beginning. Look at this color! Oh my god! Don't you love pink? Love it. So who can guess what this is? Yes, it's the Ranunculus. I've cast on a Ranunculus. So for any of you who's been living on the moon in the last few years, this is the Ranunculus most popular knitting pattern. If you go to Ravelry and search for Ranunculus, you will find thousands and thousands. Is it 10,000 projects? And that's only on Ravelry, right? So think about the people who don't put their projects on Ravelry. So probably double that. So probably, I'm just going to throw a number out here, 20,000 women or men have knit the Ranunculus. It's extremely beautiful, popular, very versatile pattern. It's knit from the top down, and it's a circular yoke with some lace and not so much textured stitches, but I mean, there are some details in it that look a bit textured, that make it look textured, like a textured design, but mainly lace. And yeah, you then just, once you've done the yoke, you then plain smooth sailing, just knit down. And so I can really see already now why this is so popular, why people love the Ranunculus, and many knitters have knit more than one Ranunculus. And I think I will as well, because now that I'm doing a summer Ranunculus, which will be finished next year, and I can't wait, there will be a winter Ranunculus naturally. And I think the reason why it's so popular is because when you start, you don't, and I don't think that's giving away too much, you don't actually have to choose for the size yet. So you start with a one size cast on, and when I was reading the pattern, I was like, so it's only giving me one number of cast on, and I don't have to choose a size. So then reading on in the pattern, you choose your size only when you've knit a few inches. And I think that's what makes it so popular, because you don't even have to do swatching, because you cast on, it's a one size cast on number for any sizes, maybe small or 6XL. And it gives you a very loose gauge, but you can change the gauge. So really very much depends on what yarn you use, how thick it is. But then, depending on what you're getting when you start knitting with whatever needle or whatever yarn, if it's too small, you simply then decide to go for the bigger size, right? So because you have that beginning and you don't have to make a decision straight away what size to knit, you can then knit it first and see how it's sitting and make an educated guess on what size to go for, basically. I think that's what's making it so popular and amazing. And looking at this now, I kind of want to knit on that right now. But yeah, the Ranunculus. Lovely, lovely pattern. Cannot wait. Beautiful. Oh, the yarn. What yarn am I using? I'm using Drops Belle. Drops Belle, lovely pink yarn, and I would say this is about a heavy DK weight yarn. Yeah. Knitting it on a 6mm. Wow. Because it has a very large gauge. I can't remember, excuse me, I can't remember the exact number of stitches now, but yeah, very large gauge. So that was that. And now we come to the last whip. Yes. So let's start with this one. So with this project, it's a little bit of a backstory to tell you. I got very much inspired by Overlocker, the makers behind Nutiden. So I think her name, the lady who owns the company, I think she's called Caroline, or is it Caroline? Something like that. Sorry if I get the name wrong. So yeah, the makers of Nutiden, very popular brand yarn. So she had a picture up on Instagram, and she used Nutiden held double, and she was knitting the Timepiece Cardigan. I'll show you the pattern. She was knitting the Timepiece Cardigan by Albiona McLaughlin in Nutiden, and I loved this project. She was wearing, you know, it was kind of a work in progress, and she had a whip picture on Instagram, and then I saw the FO picture as well, and I really liked it. So yeah, got very much inspired, so I went ahead and ordered the yarn. There was the September collection, Nutiden, and I went for this color. Let me show you the swatch first. So I have mixed feelings when it comes to this project. So I did actually two swatches. So this swatch here, let me show you the difference. Two swatches. This swatch is Nutiden only held double, and it gives quite a rough, this is extremely rustic, this yarn. This gives quite a rough texture. The second swatch I held Nutiden one strand with Silk Mohair, with this Mohair and the Nutiden together. And so in the end I actually decided to go for this combination, the Nutiden held double. The pattern calls for 18 stitches, but it does give you the option to change the gauge and go to 17 stitches. And so that's what I aimed for, because otherwise it would have come out too big. So I went down into needle size as well, and I'm knitting it on 4.5. So I am knitting the cardigan, and I shall show you now, before I keep talking, I shall show you. Oops. Excuse me. So let me show you the yarn first. So as you all know, Nutiden comes in these big plates. Oh, I love this color. When I saw it online, then I just had to have it. I've always wanted a green cardigan, so I'm holding these together. It is unspun yarn, so you have to knit. You have to pay attention to your knitting, and you can't yank on it; it will break. So you have to, you know, knit more consciously. And now I shall show you the project. So that's what I have so far. It's a top-down cardigan. And then afterwards I will tell you why I have mixed feelings. So yeah, you keep on. This is not sitting right, is it? What am I doing here? So yeah, you start with knitting the neckband first in 1x1 whip. Then, oh gosh, I keep forgetting how things are knit. You know, once you just done it, you just forget it, because there's so many projects and you get confused. So yes, I knitted the neckband. So this is the neckband here. Let me show you. So you have live stitches there, you knit the neckband, then you knit the other side of the neckband. Oh yeah, now I remember. Then you pick up the stitches along the neckband, and then you start already with your raglan increases for the shoulder, for the front, for the back, as well as for the fronts. So you have to, so you can see here, it gradually grows bigger and bigger. So, you know, so then obviously you will then have it's then big enough to close it. And you continue, as you knit, you continue knitting the button band, and then you obviously add the buttonholes. So that's that. I hope that makes sense in terms of the construction. It's kind of hard to explain. And so yeah, at one point I actually did think that I would stop and I would not continue knitting it. But I decided I will go for it and knit it, because in the past I already actually started a Nutiden project, and then I forked it because I wasn't happy with the fabric it created. It was too dense for me, holding again Nutiden double, and it was too, because for me this is like holding a double, it's a chunky weight basically, and so this is quite a it basically creates a stiff fabric. But yeah, the color is very, it's a very, it has depths to it, that color. Can you see there's different shades of green in it, light ones, dark ones, and so it's very rustic, very, very stiff. And that's why I thought maybe I should frog it. But I decided to continue because I want to have a finished Nutiden project, and I can't keep starting a Nutiden project and not finish it. So that's why I'm sticking with it and just being stubborn and continue. Because it's gonna, so the drape is not gonna have a nice drape. It's gonna be a stiff cardigan, almost like a coat, a woolly coat almost. That's what I envision now. I'm not sure if this is how it will turn out, but this is what I think will happen. So I'm going to continue, and just also the pattern is quite detailed, which is good for beginners, but because I'm more experienced, I can't be bothered to read all these instructions. So as soon as I've split for sleeves, I think I'm just going to do my own thing, continue the whipping, the whipping, the neck, the button band, just knit down to whatever length I like, do the sleeves, job done. So that's what I hope I will do. And then we shall see how it turns out. Interestingly enough as well, because again I went down in the needle size, which was a stupid mistake to make. I don't know why because I swatched on 5mm and then I went down to 4.5. Don't ask me why. That's why I actually now reached the number of stitches in the pattern to get to before splitting for the sleeves, and I tried it on and it's actually still too small. So I have to now ignore the pattern, continue the increases everywhere around so that I get it big enough, then have a split for sleeves. And it's more a slow going project as well, because as you know, with Nutiden being unspun, it takes time, you know. You can't just knit fast with that. So this what makes it enjoyable as well, because it's like, you know, it's all about slow making as well and enjoying it. So that's done. That's my timepiece cardigan. Yeah, we shall see how that turns out. Yes, and now we are coming to the end of the podcast today. However, before I go, I want to tell you all about my future knits, what I'm planning to knit, what I'm planning to cast on once I finish these current whips. The first one I'd like to show you, because we just had green yarn, so why should we not continue with green, right? So I'm planning to cast on a cardigan for my mum, and I'm planning to use this lovely moss green with this. These are very, very different greens, as you can see, and I haven't swatched yet, so I need to first swatch and see how this will turn out. And so I've been, for the longest time, I've been meaning to knit something for my mum. And she actually came over from Germany in October. And we talked about, I showed her a few patterns on Ravelry. And so we settled on the Copenhagen cardigan. And she said she likes green. So I had this in stash, and showed her this. And she said, yeah, I like that green. So, you know, does she like the pattern? Tick. Does she like the yarn? Tick. Do I have her size? Tick. That means I can cast this on and make a cardigan for my mum and hope that she loves it. Because if she doesn't, I will never knit her something again. So that's the Copenhagen cardigan by Petite Knit. Now the second future knit that I'd like to cast on is, what is it going to be? Is it another cardigan or is it a sweater? It's actually another cardigan. I'm on the cardigan train, but not for myself, sadly. I'm a rather selfish knitter, but I have to be a little bit kind and knit something for my loved ones. So let me show you what I'm planning to knit for my 9-year-old daughter. So my 9-year-old Vivian, she likes purple. So I'm planning to knit her another Petite Knit cardigan. And that one is specifically for children. What's it called? I have to put the name below. I don't know now the name of the pattern, but she likes purple. So when I went to the knitting and stitching show, I picked up this gorgeous, gorgeous purple yarn with these different specks in it. Blue, some orange. So yeah, I picked this up with her in mind. Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal. Merino wool in cashmere. 95% wool and 5% cashmere. So I'm planning to hold this together with this Silk Mohair. Oh, that's going to be so dreamy. And I want it for myself. So yes, I will knit her a Petite Knit cardigan for a 9-year-old, you know, just choose the right size for her. So I hope, we'll see when I can cast this on. I first want to finish the Ankers Summer Shirt and then I think I can cast it on. So yeah, really excited about that one because it's such a lovely combination. Look at this purple. Drops kid silk. Lovely. Yeah, that's that. And then, excuse me, whilst I'm showing you new yarn, I want to show you my acquisition, because when I went to the knitting and stitching show, I cannot go there and not buy yarn. That's impossible. So I bought this beautiful skein. Well, not just one, I bought 3. And I will hold them all up, because then it looks even more impressive and beautiful. Look at this color. Love it. Ah, love it. This is going to be for me. It's the Laan Amy. They partnered with Rosa Pomar. You may have heard of the popular Mondim yarn. Yarn that is produced in Spain. Yes, 100, no, not Spain, in Portugal, sorry. 100 Portuguese wool, sourced and milled in Portugal. So yeah, so this is 100% wool from Portugal, but then it is dyed in France by Laan Amy. I think the lady behind Laan Amy is actually called Aimee. So yeah, it has quite a rustic feel actually. Yeah, it's fingering weight yarn, and when I saw this at the knitting and stitching show, I had to have it because this one is very special, very special. Look at this. Ooh, look at all these different colors: orange, yellow, grey, green. Oh, that's gonna look so amazing. And I will knit the Bessie top with this. I shall add a picture here. Yes. Oh my god, I want to cast that on. That's beautiful. As soon as possible. So, and then I have 2 more patterns in mind that I'd like to cast on. Probably, it will be probably then springtime. And that's going to be the Nordiska by, I think it's Caitlin Hunter. The Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter. And then also I'd like to cast on the Aimee Slipover. That's the Sun is Gone pattern, and I already have the pattern book. So these 2 patterns intrigue me a lot, and I'd like to knit them next. They've been on my wish list for some time now, so I'd like to knit them next. Yeah. And I think if there's anything else, have I forgotten anything? I'm going to do a very quick life update. Life has been good, just busy getting things sorted. Now it's Christmas time, so we're going to be busy doing Christmas activities with the children. We'll be going into central London to probably look at the Christmas lights there, and planning to do lots of knitting. Work-wise, I'm also studying at the moment, so I'm busy doing that. Next to work, looking after the children, and doing, yeah, just being busy and just ticking along. That's it, really. So yes, I hope you all have been well and you enjoy what you're making. On that note, I will see you in the next episode. And this year I will actually do a recap of all my knits. And I'm going to do a recap of my knits in the past 2 years. Not just what I've knit in 2023, but what I've knit in 2022 and 2023, and this video will be coming at the end of the year, so around December, very early January time. I plan to do that, and I'm really excited. That would be my first recap video. I haven't done one ever, or I haven't done one last year. So that will be it, and on that note, I will see you again soon, hopefully with that video, and I shall say bye everyone. Take care, happy knitting, bye.